What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video I'm going to be comparing UFC fighters' styles, both from like fighters right now that are similar to other fighters now, and then also fighters now that are similar to past fighters that I watched them fight and I'll be like, damn bro, that reminds me of this guy back in the 90s, you know, that type of shit. So I've got 12 comparisons here. Some of them are a bit of a reach, some of them are very similar. You guys can let me know if I missed any, and I might do a part 2 with some of your suggestions if I agree with them. But yeah, as far as that goes, we're going to get started with the video, and we're going to start off with the first comparison. Leon Edwards and Lerone Murphy are the same fighter, and you cannot convince me that they're not. Leon Edwards and Lerone Murphy are literally just fucking clones of each other. They cloned Lerone Murphy and put him in fucking put him in medium instead of fucking large. Like, or instead they put him in small instead of medium. Like, bro, they're the same fighter. Like, they're literally the same person. Watch them fight. They stand the same. They kick the same. They throw punches the same. They fucking just exist the same. They talk the same. I know they're both just black dudes from England, but like, bro. And they train together, so yeah, I know it kind of makes sense. But yeah, these two are literally this. I was watching him fight Dan Ige, and I'm like, Lerone Murphy is just Leon Edwards, but he takes slightly more risks and is a bit less defensively sound. Like, both of them they both stand the same. They're both even built the same. Like, I'm not trying to be Mario Rios here, be the fucking physique examiner, but like, they both have like very similar physiques. I know Mario Rios is going to say, you know, Leon Edwards has the most aesthetic physique, but Leon Edwards and Lerone Murphy, they just look the same. They fight the same. I've already said it. I'm just repeating what I said. But, like, I swear they're the same person. Like, they train together like, oh, hey, mum, can we have Leon Edwards? It's like, no, we have Leon Edwards at home. This is Leon Edwards at home. This is like when your mum tells you you can get the fucking same thing from the op shop for, like, 10 times less the price. And you're like, oh no, it'll be shit. Like, no, it's basically the same. Like, that's what Leon Edwards is. That's what Lerone Murphy is in comparison to Leon Edwards. Obviously, I think Lerone Murphy's in a better division, so he's not going to become champ. Leon, I do think, is like slightly better. But, you know, they both struggle a bit with the grappling. They both have their own kind of jiu-jitsu and grappling skill that they use. They both throw a lot of kicks, a lot of jabs, a lot of straight punches. They don't really scrap too much. They both kind of get cracked a little bit. And they both are on the back foot a lot of the time. So yeah, that's my opinion. Leon Edwards, Lerone Murphy, very, very similar fighters. Let's move on though to another comparison. Charles Oliveira reminds me, or I should say Joel Alvarez reminds me a lot of Charles Oliveira. Now, some people might disagree with this one. Some people might be confused, like, bro, what do you mean? Why didn't you put one of the shootbox guys? Because they fight similar. Honestly, I watch Joel Alvarez and I see like a very similar fighter to Charles Oliveira. Someone who does have a bit of a struggle with getting taken down. Someone who mixes in fucking every single weapon possible. Like, if you watch Joel Alvarez's last fight with Elvis Brenner's the shootbox guy. Joel Alvarez looked more like the shootbox fighter than Elvis Brenner did. Elvis Brenner just looked like a fucking shit retard that was just throwing nothing and just throwing arm punches. Charles Oliveira, he walks you down. Joel Alvarez is a little bit more on the back foot, I guess, than Charles Oliveira, but he mixes in the submissions. He's got a great submission. He wraps up darces. He goes for guillotines. He'll hurt you on the feet and then pull a guillotine. Like, if you watch what Oliveira did with Gaethje, you know, where he had that combination, the flying knee into the guillotine, and then he separated to like the right hand, or he'll threaten submissions to kind of force you into a position. That's what Joel Alvarez does. He hurts you. He'll wrap up a submission. Wrapped up that darce against Brenner at the end of the first, which he didn't get, but he wrapped it up, very similar to how Charles Oliveira hurt. It was not David Tamer. When Charles Oliveira rocked David Tamer, was beating him up and then kind of bounced him off the cage and then wrapped up the anaconda. Very similar stuff there. Mixes in the knees. Joel Alvarez throws the flying knees, throws some like jumping teeps to the face. I just watched them and they throw the same weapons. Now, maybe the way they throw the weapons is a bit different, but I think these two are very similar fighters. I also even just look at the record, like the extreme finishing rate, like the fact that Alvarez is a very heavy submission guy. Like, if you look at Charles Oliveira's record, it's a lot more submissions. There are TKOs on there, obviously finished Beneil Dariush with strikes, Chandler, Nick Lentz in the trilogy. He's got finishes with strikes. Same with Joel Alvarez. He finished Brenner with strikes. But a lot of this guy, he finished Moises with strikes, but a lot of his finishes are by submission. Same as Oliveira. He wraps up the neck well, long kind of arms, not quite as, Oliveira's not quite as long as Alvarez. Alvarez, I think, is like 6'3", got a real long reach, like 78-inch reach or something like that. I just think these two are very similar. They mix up the weapons very well. And yeah, they both throw those flying knees, the jumping switch kicks, or the jumping teeps, I should say, teeps to the face. And yeah, they both have a fucking piston of a right hand as well, and just crack you a lot. They're not like the sniper style, but they're like the walking forward sniper. They're not like the counter snipe style, but they're like the walk forward, walk you down, pull the shot out of you, and then just kind of beat you up, mixes in a lot of body shots too. Oliveira goes to the body with knees. Alvarez was kneeing the body a lot against Brenner in his last fight. So maybe I'm reaching here. Maybe I haven't watched enough of Joel Alvarez and I'm just going off the last fight. But just based off that fight with Brenner, I think these two are quite similar fighters. Maybe like they don't stand the same or they don't quite move forward the same, but in terms of the weapons they throw, I think it's very similar. Anyway, let's move on though to another comparison. Next up, this is the one on the thumbnail. Conor McGregor against Mauricio Houfi, or not against, but is very similar. I should say Mauricio Houfi is very similar to Conor McGregor. I watched him fight on Contender Series, and I'm like, yeah, there's resemblances there, you know, like he's a good fighter, clearly a very nice, good striker. But I'm sorry, bro, his debut against Mauricio Houfi, go back and rewatch that. I thought I was bugging, I was like, nah, because I know on the commentary they were saying he fights like Conor McGregor, like the early featherweight Conor is what this guy reminds me of. But I went back and rewatched this fight like 4 times, 5 times, because it's like a 4-minute fight. He beat the fuck out of him. He fights the same. He stands the same. He stands with that karate stance. He bounces around on the outside. Jab, slip, got backhand, right, this is you bouncing. Fucking, it's just, I'm resisting the urge to just go into a, like, tirade of Conor McGregor impressions. But, like, he's just bouncing around on the outside, floating in and out. You come forward, got that pullback counter. I don't think he's southpaw. I think obviously Conor's southpaw. Don't think Houfi's southpaw, but still, he's basically just an orthodox Conor. Like, orthodox featherweight McGregor. He looks the fucking same as him as well, honestly. He looks like, it's like, that motherfucker don't look like me. You know, when they got the supposed lookalike of Conor, got him take a photo with him, he's like, that motherfucker don't look like me. Fucking Phil. But, yeah, Mauricio Houfi reminds me a lot of Conor, the way he looks, the way he fights, the way he throws punches, you know, just his overall kind of movement and control of the cage, his patience as well, bro. People forget, man. Conor McGregor at featherweight was so patient, even in the fight with what's his name, fucking Eddie Alvarez. But since then, he hasn't been as like patient on the back foot waiting for counter. He's been more aggressive with the boxing. But back then, when he was hopping around on the outside and you would come in and he would just pull back and just smack you in the fucking nose and just, I break people's faces for money and bounce. This is like, I don't know. But yeah, Conor, that's what he did back in the day. Watch featherweight Conor's fights. You know how it goes. Watch his fight with Mendes. Watch his fight with Diego Brandao. Watch his fight with Marcus Brimage. The counters are crazy. He mixes the shots in, goes to the body as well. This dude just fights like Conor. Like, it's pretty obvious that he's taken some inspiration from Conor, but I'm telling you, he's also got a fight booked against James Lonto. He was meant to fight Charlie Campbell, which would have been a bit more of a difficult fight. I still would have picked him, but now he's fighting James Lonto, who he's going to absolutely destroy and smoke. So get ready for another first round TKO, and you guys will be able... I would tell you to go back and rewatch the Ruffy fight. Don't even bother. Just let it be a surprise. If you haven't seen this guy fight, let it be a surprise. Tune in. Featured prelim, UFC 309, Mauricio Houfi versus James Lonto. He's going to fucking catch a body, and he's going to kill a man. Anyway, let's move on, though, to another comparison. The other one on the thumbnail, Anderson Silva and Carlos Prates. Very similar fighting styles, in my opinion. Not quite the same. There are some differences, but I went back and just rewatched some. You know, I didn't even watch like a whole fight. I just went back and wanted to watch like just a minute. I went back and watched 1 minute of the fucking Anderson Silva Forrest Griffin fight, and I went back and rewatched round 2 of Li Jingliang Carlos Prates. Bro, they fight so similar, I swear. Even where he holds his hands, and then once he starts tagging you a bit more, once he starts getting confident, the hands kind of come down from like around the chest area, more to the waist, and he's got the hands by the waist, he's bobbing, he's moving his head around, trying to bait you in. The counters are great, but the offensive striking, like the one, he'll go 1-2, you'll throw something back, and then he'll counter. Like, it's not like he waits, you throw, he catches you. He'll throw, make you throw back because you don't want to let his shots go unpunished, and then he'll just smack you back. When he fought fucking Li Jingliang, that reminded me so much of Forrest Griffin, Anderson Silva. Just Griffin kind of running in, throwing a punch, and bro, to Prates, that shit's in slow motion. Like, he'll throw one, and Prates counters with like 4. Sit you in a fucking chair and drop him. I don't know, his combos are sick. He uses the teeps, uses the front kicks up the middle as well, goes to the body, good knees, elbows. But yeah, the way he throws punches, the way he holds his hands, very similar to Anderson Silva in his prime, in my opinion. I think he definitely took some inspiration from there. Both Brazilian, obviously. You got to assume there's some inspiration with the fighting style there. But yeah, he's about to fight Magny next weekend. He's going to fucking kill him. Magny's going to die, and you guys can watch and tell me, like, bro, I'm saying, go back and rewatch some Anderson Silva, like Forrest Griffin type fights. Some of those ones where you get those Anderson Silva highlights. Don't rewatch the fucking Maya fight. That's not going to do you anything. But go back and rewatch some of those ones when he was just KOing people. I'm telling you, he throws shots the same. Like, the step in knees and stuff. Prates, I'd say, is a little bit more aggressive. Silva was probably a bit better of a counter striker. Obviously, Silva's better fighter than Prates, but like Prates, in terms of like what he relies on more, Prates is probably a little bit more on the front foot, a bit more aggressive. Silva kind of a bit more elusive. Prates does get hit a bit more than Silva was getting hit, but still, I think Prates very good fighter and are very similar to Anderson Silva. Let's move on, though, to another comparison. Here's a bit of an obscure one, because if I was going to tell you guys, tell me past to present fighter comparisons that you think are very similar. I think a lot of people would get the Conor McGregor Houfi comparison. A lot of people would get the Anderson Silva Prates one. I don't think many people are going to be comparing Sean Sherk to Mateusz Rebecki, but I'm telling you, go back and watch fucking Sean Sherk versus Nick Diaz, and now go back and rewatch Maite McGregor by Rebecki, or any Rebecki fight. Bro, they fight the same. They're built very fucking similar. They're both lightweight, both little midget. I know Sherk fought at welterweight a couple of times. Maybe I'm bugging. Maybe he was a welterweight. I don't know. He did fight Nick Diaz, so I think he's a welterweight. But he fought Kenny Florian as well, who's I'm pretty sure of lightweight or featherweight. So I'm trying not to sound like a casual here, because these guys literally fought before I was born. But I think, yeah, they fought before I was born. But go back and rewatch Sean Sherk versus Nick Diaz. Little fucking tight arms, little midget T-Rex arms, throwing just big meaty hooks. He looks the same. Go back and rewatch Rebecki versus Rajdabov. That's a good comparison point. Go watch Mateusz Rebecki versus Loic Rajdabov and see how this dude throws punches. I mean, any of his fights you'll see it, but like, he throws the same. He's got probably a little bit more power than Sherk. Sherk didn't get that many like big KOs or knockdowns in his UFC career, from what I remember, or from what I saw on it when I went to his resume. But I'm telling you, I streamed earlier today, and I was like, guys, give me some comparisons. And someone said, Sean Sherk, Michael Chandler. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. So I went back, and I was like, nah, bro, this guy fights like Rebecki. This dude's not Michael Chandler, he's Rebecki. Little midget arms, bobbing and weaving, fucking muscled up roid head as well. I'm telling you, him and Rebecki are fucking similar as hell with their fighting style. Like, you chuck Rebecki back in the fucking early 2000s, back in the 90s, this dude's catching 5 title defenses, I'm telling you. Anyway, let's move on, though, to the next comparison. Look, there's not much to this comparison. They're both just baldish dudes that throw big, powerful right hands. I don't know. Like, it's just the overhand right is the comparison. There's not really much else. I'm not going to go back and do a fucking hour long of Dan Henderson tape study. But I know he throws big meaty hooks, and I know Josh Emmett loves a big meaty hook. So yeah, Dan Henderson and Josh Emmett. I think when I posted saying I was going to do this video, I was like, you guys got any comparisons that you can think of? Like, I saw Josh Emmett, Dan Henderson like 4 times. So yeah, I don't think there's much of a debate here. Maybe they're not overly similar with their overall fighting style, but they both throw a real powerful right hand, and they both KO a lot of people. So that's the comparison here. Anyway, let's move on, though, to another comparison. Next up, Jiří Prochazka, Bogdan, Guskov. These two are in the same weight class, and I can only hope that we see this fight, because we might get a fucking combined IQ of, like, less than 3 digits if these two fought, because their fighting style is the most retarded thing ever. Go back and rewatch Bogdan, Guskov, Ryan Spann, and then go watch, like, Jiří versus Ozdemir. I know Bogdan got smoked by Ozdemir, but that was his debut. He took that fight on short notice. Bogdan Guskov's fighting Johnny Walker in January. He's going to kill him unless Johnny Walker randomly is just good and takes him down. Because to be fair, Bogdan does have a weakness in the wrestling. And Johnny Walker, I know Volta Walker's been training in Dagestan. I don't know, or with the Khabib guys. Maybe not in Dagestan, but maybe at AKA. I don't know if Johnny Walker's been doing the same. But if he has, he might wrestle. But you know Johnny Walker, he's not going to wrestle. He's going to come out and be retarded and get KO'd. But I'm telling you, Yuri is probably better. I think Yuri is a better fighter than Bogdan Guskov. But these two are both just unbelievably retarded. Like, chromosomes through the roof here. Like, Yuri and Bogdan, they both just fight so autistically. It's fucking amazing. I love Bogdan, bro. Go back and rewatch that fight with Span, round 2, when he gets those hands going. Go watch his fight with Zach Pounger. I'm still not convinced he's very good, because Zach Pounger sucks, and Ryan Span's retarded, but I don't care. He's a big, powerful, bald dude that throws like a fucking autistic person, and I love it. It's amazing to watch. Anyway, let's move on, though, to another comparison. Next up, we got Cain Velasquez comparison to Anthony Hernandez. Now, around the time when Merab beat Peter Yan, a lot of people being like, dude, this guy's like the bantamweight Cain Velasquez. And I'm like, you're retarded. He does not fight like Cain Velasquez. Like, yeah, he shoots a bunch of takedowns, but Merab's top game is shit. He doesn't actually hold people down. Well, this Cain Velasquez would get you down, beat the fuck out of you, and then when you get back up, you're cooked and you don't want to be in the fight anymore. That's what fucking Fluffy Hernandez does. He fails a few takedowns early, right? So he does have that aspect of the Merab game, but he gets you down and he just exhausts you and wears you out and submits you or beats the fuck out of you and lands a retarded amount of shots. Like, how many shots did he land against Pereira? But he fucking, Merab doesn't 10-8 people. I don't think Merab has scored a 10-8 round in his entire fucking career. But what he does do is just spam takedowns. But what Hernandez does is 10-8 people. He landed 219 strikes, landing at 74.7% against Michel Pereira. 152 of them significant, landed 10 out of 29 takedowns. He's running up fucking Cain Velasquez numbers, I swear. If you look at takedowns attempted in a fight, I'm pretty sure Cain Velasquez held the record before Merab got it. I'm actually looking up like Cain Velasquez right now. Because I'm pretty sure he held the record for most takedowns attempted in a fight before Merab broke it when he fought Yan. Right. And then, but let me see. Takedowns. Let's see. He got 11 takedowns against JDS. That's the one. 11 against JDS, 7 against Czech Congo. Cain, how many did he shoot though? Cain Velasquez versus JDS. Was it this one? Yeah, TKO in round 5, shot. Oh no, that was a different one. I'm retarded. But yeah, like he gets TKOs on the ground, he submits people. 11 out of 33. He shot 33 takedowns. That's what I mean. I'm pretty sure Fluffy got 11 against Pereira if I'm not retarded. But yeah, these dudes fight the same. They even look kind of similar, like a bit tubby. Not like fat, but just like a bit of belly fat on them. Got ridiculous cardio bases. And I think it helps as well, not having to be super lean and super jacked. It actually kind of helps. They both got decent power on the feet. But yeah, a lot of volume on the feet and just absolute marauders on the ground is what Joe Rogan would say. But yeah, that's the comparison that I have there. Velasquez is very similar to Fluffy Hernandez. Let's move on, though, to another comparison. Next up, BSD and Justin Gaethje. Now, I have to preface this by saying I'm not talking about current Gaethje. I'm talking about freshly out of fucking World Series of Fighting, Michael Johnson, sorry. I'm sure Michael Chandler loves me mistaking him for a black person. He's basically part of the hood. But Justin Gaethje versus Michael Johnson type, that's the comparison I get with BSD. The guy that came in fucking just marauding everyone, beat Michael Johnson, beat Michael Johnson, and then there was a bunch of hype around him, obviously, and then he loses to Alvarez and Poirier. I consider that like BSD losing to Poirier and Moicano, I guess. And then he's going to go on a win streak and KO James Vick next. He's going to fix his style and KO James Vick. But no, I don't know, I just get the same vibe. They both just walk forward like tards with no defense. Like, defense is optional. what the fuck is head movement type setup with these guys fighting. Was Gaethje undefeated before he came to UFC? He was. But yeah, that's what he fights like. He just walks forward, slams kicks as well. He goes more body kicks. Gaethje was very heavy on the leg kicks early. But just cripples people with leg kicks compared to BSD, who just throws body kicks like a maniac. BSD a lot more willing to grapple. Obviously, we saw Gaethje physically rejected grappling in multiple of his fights. But yeah, I just get a big comparison here. The head movements was just not there, which is why he got KO'd by Alvarez and Poirier. And even Johnson almost had him KO'd. But then he turned himself around. He fixed himself, smoked James Vick, smoked Barbosi, smoked Cerrone, smoked Ferguson. Obviously lost to Khabib. But yeah, I'm saying we're seeing a BSD comeback soon, and it's going to be Justin Gaethje-esque. But yeah, if he'd beaten Poirier, I really wanted to see them fight. Or if he'd lost to Poirier, but then won a fight in the meantime after that, I kind of wanted to see them fight. Obviously, that's not going to happen now, but yeah, BSD definitely reminds me a lot of early Gaethje. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up, Josh Van reminds me a lot of an earlier Max Holloway. Still kind of current Max Holloway, but less so now. But Josh Van, bro, volume boxing extraordinaire. This guy holds the UFC record right now for most strikes landed per minute on average in his UFC career. Now, I know obviously he's only had 5 fights, which is the minimum to be able to actually be on the record thingies on the UFC, but he averages landing like 8.5 strikes a minute. That's pretty fucking nuts, to be fair, bro. So yeah, Josh Van, I love this dude. He's going to beat Cody Durden, trust. But yeah, the volume boxing, the way he mixes in the body shots. I know someone said, oh, Van reminds me more of Poirier. I said Holloway because he's got like the volume. He's got the like constant output with not as much power as Poirier. But I think this guy's really good. He's shooting takedowns and scoring double legs on Edgar Shires and stuff and I think he even like took down like Borjas or whatever. But like he's mixing the martial arts as a 22-year-old who's only been training MMA for like 4 years or like 3 years, which is nuts. So yeah, Josh Van, I think he's very good. I think this guy's gonna be like a Max Holloway type, not chin wise, but just the style of how he throws punches. I think is very similar to Max Holloway. Let's move on though to another comparison. Next up, we got a comparison between Khamzat Chimaev and Jailton Almeida. This is a bit of a random one, but I think you guys can see it. Now, I know Almeida lost to Blades and everyone thinks he's a bum, but like, apart from the tough fight with Lewis, and then he was just winning against Blades easily until he randomly got squashed under Blades' belly fat and TKO'd. He's the fat man strangler, you know? He's going to beat Spivak. I'm telling you he's going to beat Spivak. There's no way he's losing to Spivak. He's good though. Like, blast doubles immediately into fights. He always goes for it, like, straight away pretty much. I'm telling you, there's a comparison there. Like Rosenstrike, Shamil fucking Abdurrahimov, not the other goat Shamil. But yeah, he fights very similar to Khamzat. Obviously not quite as good, I don't think, but he's got the jiu-jitsu. I think Khamzat's got better wrestling, clearly. By all means, way better wrestling. But the jiu-jitsu of Almeida's sick. The top control's very good. And yeah, I think he's quite similar to Khamzat in terms of heavyweight division. Let's move on, though, to one final comparison. JDM reminds me of Dustin Poirier a lot. I think these two are very similar fighters. Maybe just because they just box a bunch and they throw hands. But like, even the way they mix in the combos, they go to the body as well. I know maybe I could say JDM a bit more Max Holloway-esque, I guess, with those body shots. Or maybe even like a Poirier, because he does have a lot of power. But Poirier's got mad power as well. So yeah, I think Poirier and JDM or Poirier and JDM or like a Holloway and JDM. I think, but those guys are just heavy boxing. They throw some leg kicks, they'll throw some calf kicks like Poirier does, but it's pretty much just hands. And it's volume striking, mixes in the combos super well. Not like, he doesn't usually just one-shot KO people. Like if you got the Ramazan Ameev body shot TKO, the Danny Roberts TKO combination. The Randy Brown one ended up being a submission, but he smoked him as well, and then the Burns finish too. I hope he fights. He's probably going to fight Usman, I think. But yeah, can you not just tell me you see the comparison with JDM and like Poirier? They throw hands. They're just like Is Poirier? Am I retarded? Is Poirier southpaw? Poirier is southpaw. So I guess similar to the reversal of the Conor and Houfi. Like he's just a. We're gonna see JDM. We're gonna see JDM versus Mauricio Houfi someday, and it's gonna be a fucking throwback to Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. But we get karate stance McGregor. Like, that's what that shit's going to be. It's going to be fun as hell. But yeah, Poirier, JDM, very similar, both boxing heavy fighters in my opinion. There's so many more that I could have missed. I know you guys are going to be like, oh, what do you mean, bro? You forgot this one. Leave all those in the comments that I forgot. I'll do a part 2 later on, maybe in a week or 2 or something, if you leave enough good comparisons. I also kind of want to do like a fighters lookalike video as well, which will be funny. There's some meme potential with that one. But anyway, leave some other videos you guys want to see in the comments. Let me know. But other than that, peace out.